What's up, guys? This week we're going to work on the second part of our OptArt project that we started last week. This week all we're going to be doing is adding color to our project and outlining it with a Sharpie marker if you have not done that already. So all you're going to need this week is you're going to need your project that we started last week. If you don't have your project that we started last week, if you didn't do one or you lost it, go back to my YouTube channel and work on the first part of the OptArt Arches project and do this part first. And the other thing you're going to need is crayons or something to color with. All right, let's get started. All right, so here's how we're going to start our project. I just realized that my picture, when I traced mine with a Sharpie marker, I did not do a great job of following along the lines, which is all right, which is totally fine. So what I'm going to do first before I start is I'm going to take an eraser and I'm just going to clean up some of those extra pencil lines before I start actually coloring. So you want to go in and just with an eraser quickly make sure you get rid of any extra pencil lines that you have. So you're just left with your Sharpie marker. Like I said, if you don't have a Sharpie marker at home, be creative. Do what you do. Use whatever you have. You could use a black pen, anything like that, to finish doing your lines. So it's all right if you don't have a Sharpie marker. A black marker or a pen would work just great. So get rid of your extra pencil lines quickly, and then you're going to be ready to start coloring. So coloring sounds really easy, but for ours, we're going to do it a little bit differently. So it's going to matter the way we color this, because the way we color it is going to affect the way it looks, the OptArt qualities that it has. So first, I want you to pick 4 colors. So you're going to pick 2 different groups of colors because you're going to make 2 different patterns. And you want those colors to be colors that are not like each other. So if you look, I have a yellow and a indigo, and I have a blue-green and a scarlet. So these two, scarlet's like a red. So these colors are not like each other. These 2 colors are like each other, so I don't want them next to each other. And these 2 colors are next to each other, or like each other, so I don't want them next to each other either. So I'm going to pair these off and create a pattern. So here is what you're going to do. You're going to start first by coloring the inside of your arches, the big kind of oval, it's almost like a football shape that it created. So I'm going to color in the inside of that one with that color. Then I'm going to color the inside of the next one with another color. I'm going to go kind of fast so you guys can see what I'm doing. Because it's not just coloring that's going to make this look like an OptArt picture. Not just the actual colors that I'm going to use. It's actually the way that I'm going to color it is actually going to affect the way it, the illusions, the optical illusions that it creates. And I'll show you that in a second. So I'm just kind of going through and adding my colors quickly to those big shapes. And those are the biggest shapes that you're going to be coloring on this whole project. So this will take the most time to color in out of anything. All right. All right, so now I have those all colored in. So here's what you're going to do to make them look more OptArt appearing, more OptArty, I guess, is you're going to take that crayon that you use, and in the corners, you're going to darken it up. So you're going to push harder in the corners. And this is shading. This is what is going to make it look more 3D. So on each one, you're going to take that color crayon, and you're going to push a little harder in the corners, and just a little bit on the sides, and that's going to create that shading. So those ones only had 1 corner. These ones in the center are actually going to have 2 corners. So I'm going to do one on one side and one on the other side. And that is creating that kind of shading effect. Now, it's a little bit hard to see so far because I'm not done. I'm just doing the first part. But you'll start to see it more and more as we go and start filling in our pattern and our arches along the rest of our picture. So let me show you what I mean. Now we have those done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing my pattern. So let's think about the colors that I'm going to use next to each other. So like I said, I'm going to use this scarlet and this blue next to each other, and then I'm going to use these 2 next to each other also. So now I go to the next color. I'll color in that part. Now what I think works the best is to do this whole color first. So to do all of the arches that are going to be this indigo first. So I'm going to go through And you're going to skip every other one. So you leave one blank, then color the other one. Leave the next one blank, color the other one. All right, so you just keep doing that all the way up and down. And then what you're going to do with that is you're going to do the same thing that you just did on the center part on these arches. You're going to go in and you're going to darken up the corners. So you're going to darken the corners, and that's going to give it that 3D effect. This is what's really going to make our picture look much more three-dimensional and play more kind of tricks on our eyes. It's going to make it look much more interesting. So add those darkened corners. It's easy too because the corners is the smallest part of that arch. So it'll be easy to get it nice and dark. So it's going to start to look more 3D. Then you can go in after you colored, pretend like I colored all those in already. Go in and add your second color of the pattern. See, I'm doing the same color as I did in the middle. That's the second color of this pattern. And do the same thing. Darken up the corners of those arches. Just darken up the corners. And it's going to start to look 3D. All right? So go ahead and start adding the rest of your colors. You'll do the same thing for the rest of this row, and then you do the same thing on the other colors too. Just follow your pattern. All right, so I'm going to keep going now. Here's a look at my finished picture. Remember, guys, send me a picture of yours when you're done. I can't wait to see what you guys create.